What's up guys, Julian here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make breakbeat music like Bicep, Prospa, Franky, style. I'm going to be showing you some new stuff in this video. As usual, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, everything that you just heard is available right at the top of the description. So now we go grab that. It's a really solid project file. This is definitely one of the best breakbeat templates I've ever seen available. And it's also at a super accessible price. It's just $5. So now we go grab that. It's really going to help support me. If I helped you guys at all, I really don't make a whole lot off of YouTube, but with these little sample packs, I'm able to keep going and keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. And yeah, thanks so much for the support, everybody, and let's dive in. So, we're at 134 BPM. The first thing that we have up here is the pad. So, this pad, when you hear it on its own, the idea behind this is it's a very small sound, actually, right? It's a very thin synth, and it's only playing a few notes. It's actually only playing 3 notes. But when you hear that in the whole mix, it fits in really well. Like if I play that with the bass line, you can hear it just sits so nicely over top of that chord progression. And that's really what this is about. It's not about making a sound that sounds super cool when you solo it, and you can just sit there and go, ooh, look at the synth patch I made all day. It's about making a sound that fits into the track. Right? Like the synth is just a tool to make a sound that's going to fit in the track, not to just make a cool synth patch. So the notes here are really simple. Like I said, it's literally just D and G, and then F sharp and G. So we're in the key of G major here, so it's like the 5th and the root note, and then the major 7th and the root note. So for the sound here, it's made with wavetables. So we've got a saw wave and a square wave. On the saw wave though, you can see we're using the sync, and there's a little LFO on that, moving it. And then we got the unison on the classic. I've got a bit of chorus here. Here's without that. And then with it, so that's pretty subtle, but it adds some nice stereo width there. I've got a reverb. I've got some drum bus, which is fattening this up a little bit. And then just a high pass filter. And that's it for that one. Then we have the lead. So this is actually a pretty simple lead, right? It's only a few notes, but what makes it work really well is the call and response. So we have here the call. And then the response there, right? Again, it's not really that many notes. It's not that complicated. It's very simple. But it's not about making a complicated melody. It's about making these 2 different parts that are going to speak to each other really well. To have the... That's really what makes that work. And that's how you want to think about it. Again, not just making like a complicated melody. Make a simple melody, but have like the different parts of it really speak to each other. And that's something that I think if you read like if you're reading like an article and they say like, oh yeah, make the 2 parts of your melody speak to each other, it's kind of like, well, what are you talking about, dude? But this is actually how it works, and that's a very simple thing to do, to just... So that's, how you want to think about that. And then for the sound here, it's made with the analog, so we've got 2 square waves, detuned a bit. I've got a bit of the filter here, which you can see has an envelope on it. So that's how you get that wow 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 kind of thing. The amp envelope is set like that. And then I've just got a bit of vibrato and unison. And then we just have a little bit of echo. And then an EQ just cutting out some mud and boosting the highs a little bit. And then we have the vocal. And if it takes until the end of time, I've got to make you mine. So yeah, just going through a high pass filter, bit of echo, bit of reverb. Pretty simple stuff there. This one's really just about like, one, the texture that's already in the sample. I say this a lot, but it's like, rather than trying to find a sample that sounds really dry and flat and then add like drum bass or something like that to it, it's really going to be better if you find something that already has the character and already has that texture that you're looking for, and then you're bringing that into your track rather than taking it into the track and then just messing it up with a bunch of over processing. But also, this one, I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, it's not like it's got some crazy texture to it. This one's really about the notes. I think the notes that are being sung here work really, really well, like with this chord progression. And if it takes until the end of time, I got to make you mine. Right, like that all just goes together really nicely. And then we have the bass. So we have our Reese bass here, and then our sub. So one for the mid-range, and then one for the actual lows, right? So here, for this bass, I'll show you the MIDI first. So again, we're in the key of G major, so we're doing like... Now, this chord progression is very rhythmic, right? If we play it with like the breakbeat. See, like this... It doesn't just go to the next chord in the next bar. It goes to the next chord on the actual snare. And then you don't want to just have it like, just be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, have it 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a lot more impactful if you change the chords there. For the sound on this one, it's made with wavetable. It's just 2 saw waves, detuned a bit. I've got a bunch of unison, some chorus. I have a multi-band distortion here where you can see. So we're distorting the highs, the mids, and the lows separately. So here's without that. And then with it. So yeah, it sounds really good. And this is, I think, what a lot of people are trying to do with like multi-band compression and like EQ and all that kind of stuff. It's like, rather than do that, just keep it simple. Just split it into the lows, mids, and highs with EQ3, and then just multi-band distort it. It's not that hard, but it really gives you that juicy extra flavor. And the secret there is blending this. You can see all of these I've played with the dry wet. And it's really important. You want to treat this not like it's just taking over the whole sound, but almost like it's another layer on top of what you're already hearing there. And then we just have a high pass filter. And yeah, that's it for the Reese. Then we have the sub bass. So this is made with operator, and this is just 2 sine waves here with a bit of FM. You know, pretty simple sound. It's really meant to just be like a sine wave, but then with a little bit of like mid-range content kind of added from that second one. And yeah, and then on the group of basses, nothing but just keeping them in a group together makes it good for mixing. Then we have our actual drums, which I'll play all together. So yeah, you can hear this is the breakbeat. Now, before you can play around with breakbeats, what you actually want to do is you're going to start with this. So you can hear we have just like a pretty basic pattern, right? Like this is just like the kick and the snare and the hi-hat. And you actually want to nail this down before you bring in any of these kind of. Because as you can hear, a lot of people, when they hear these kinds of tracks, think it's just about the breakbeat. But it's really like, the breakbeat is just like a percussion loop. Because this on its own is very thin. So you need to really nail down this, like a nice punchy kick, a nice punchy snare. And then a fat hi-hat as well. And you need that. It has to all work together, and then you can bring this in over top of it. Because I promise you, if you just start with this, you're going to get lost pretty quickly. So here we have a nice fat kick, like a 909 kick. One of those tech house kicks that I made with the 909. We have a snare. And a clap layered together, and then you can hear it just makes one really fat. And then I also have this techno hi-hat. which has a little bit of background stuff going on there. And that really adds to the groove as well and sounds cool. And that's just going through a high pass filter. So again, you want to get these in here, and this isn't hard to do, but then you're going to make that just sound really fat like this. And then once that's nailed down and it's sounding really good, then you can go and bring in these breakbeats. So here we have 3 of them. We've got this one, which is like really bright in the high end, and this one. And you'll notice all 3 of these are kind of taking up different ranges of the frequency spectrum. And that's how you want to treat this, like, because the processing is very minimal. It's really just a bit of filtering and a very light amount, save for this 3rd one here. But it's really just like the samples fitting together, like, because of the sounds they are. Like, this one's really bright. You know, this one's got a nice mid-range to it. And then when all that comes together and you put these 3 together, it's not going to be too messy now because it's like 3 different things coming together to make one. And that's what you want to aim for. And then, yeah, so then on the group of those, I just have a little bit of EQ. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, everything from this video is available right at the top of the description. Definitely go grab that. It's really going to help support me. Plus, it's going to help support yourself making the best tracks of your career. You know, you can really take your tracks to the next level with these templates that I have. So go grab that. It's just $5, but it's really going to help support me. Every little bit helps. If you've enjoyed these videos, definitely go grab that. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.